Iran's negotiating with itself statement, the full context. What Iran actually said. Lieutenant Colonel Ibrahim Zolfagari, spokesman for Iran's Hatem al-Anbiya Central Headquarters, which commands both the regular military and the paramilitary Revolutionary Guard, delivered a blunt statement on Iranian state television. Have your internal conflicts reached the point where you are negotiating with yourselves? He followed with, "Our first and last word has been, is, and will be the same from the very first day. Someone like us will never come to terms with someone like you." The spokesperson added, "The strategic power you used to boast about has now turned into a strategic defeat. Do not label your defeat as an agreement." The core reason. Iran says no talks ever happened. Iran's foreign ministry flatly stated there is no talks or negotiations between Iran and the United States, and that there have not been such negotiations for the past 25 days of the illegal war against Iran. The ministry added, no one can trust U.S. diplomacy. Iran's ambassador to Pakistan reinforced this, saying, "Based on my information, contrary to Trump's claims, no direct or indirect negotiations have taken place between the two countries so far." So when Trump publicly claimed negotiations were underway and that Iran had agreed to major concessions, Iran's military saw this as the U.S. essentially inventing a diplomatic process, hence negotiating with itself. What Trump was claiming. Trump told reporters the U.S. was in negotiations right now, that Iranians were talking sense, and that Iran had already agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. He also said he backed off threatening Iranian energy infrastructure based on the fact we're negotiating. Trump also claimed Iran had committed to not pursuing nuclear weapons, not enriching uranium, handing over existing stockpiles, and reopening the Strait of Hormuz, none of which were confirmed by Tehran. Iranian parliament speaker Mohammad Baghir Ghalibaf, the man Trump's envoys allegedly spoke to, denied any negotiations had taken place and called U.S. claims an effort to manipulate markets and escape the quagmire in which the U.S. and Israel are trapped. Iran's deeper strategic reasons for the dismissal. Number 1. History of U.S. bad faith during negotiations. Iran's leadership has previously said it cannot negotiate with the U.S. because America attacked the country twice during high-level negotiations in the past 2 years. From Tehran's perspective, the U.S. launched the current war while nuclear negotiations were ongoing, a profound breach of diplomatic norms that makes any U.S. peace overture appear hollow or manipulative. Number 2. Reading Trump's moves as market manipulation. Iran believes the negotiations narrative was engineered to calm financial markets, not reflect reality. Oil prices fell more than 5%, and world shares gained on reports the U.S. was seeking a ceasefire and had sent Iran a 15-point plan, raising hopes for a resumption of oil exports out of the Persian Gulf. Iran's military sees this as the U.S. using the illusion of diplomacy as an economic pressure tool. Number 3. Internal U.S. contradictions undermine credibility. Iran pointed to the glaring contradictions within the U.S. posture itself. Even as Trump spoke optimistically about diplomacy, the Pentagon was preparing to deploy thousands more soldiers to the Middle East, and Israel continued to strike Iran. Claiming peace while escalating militarily is precisely what Iran means by negotiating with yourself. The U.S. foreign policy and military tracks appeared to be operating in opposite directions simultaneously. Number 4. The 15-point plan was never accepted. A 15-point plan was sent to Iran through Pakistan as an intermediary. It was unclear how widely the plan had been circulated among Iranian officials, and it was also unclear if Israel would even support it. Iran never acknowledged receiving or responding to it, meaning the U.S. was essentially floating proposals into a void and then publicly claiming agreement. Iran believes it has not lost. Iran also believes it is winning in its form of asymmetric warfare, according to analysts and former U.S. officials. Iran's military spokesperson said, "There will be no more talk of your investments in the region, nor will you ever see the former prices of energy and oil again until you understand that stability in this region is guaranteed only by the powerful hand of our armed forces." From Iran's vantage point, agreeing to negotiate under military attack while continuing to fire missiles at Israel and U.S. bases would signal weakness they don't believe they need to show. The bottom line: Iran's negotiating with itself jab is a multi-layered accusation that Trump invented a diplomatic reality that doesn't exist, used it to manipulate global markets, contradicted it with simultaneous military escalation, and presented one-sided demands as mutual agreements. Al Jazeera's correspondent in Tehran described complete confusion inside Iran over the status of talks, noting that Iranian officials were saying the complete opposite of what Trump claimed, making the situation very interesting and very strange. The statement is as much a message to Iran's domestic audience as it is to Washington. Iran will not be seen as capitulating to a war it calls illegal.